any auto TV. Today we've got the latest addition from Dodge into the family 7-seat market. It's the Dodge Journey, and as you can see from the nose, it has that typically Dodge look about it. People either love it or they hate it. This latest American import was brought in the third quarter of 2008. This particular model is a 7-seat, 2.7 litre V6 mated to a 6-speed automatic transmission. We're going to have a chat about both the petrol and the diesel models today. So let's have a look, see what they're like. Here we are sitting inside the Journey diesel. This particular model is the RT version, which has leather seats, sunroof, the Chrysler MyGig 30 gigabyte hard disk entertainment system, as well as a rear DVD player, all added as options. Internally, again, it's like the petrol Journey, lots of storage space, very comfortable. The major difference between this one and the petrol is obviously the motor and the add-ons which can be added to the petrol as well. What we have here is a 2 litre 103 kilowatt diesel motor with about 310 newton meters of torque. By itself that would be enough, but this is a fairly heavy sort of vehicle at 1780 odd kilograms, so the motor, it works well, but it struggles just a touch. Where it does fall down a bit is, for some reason, the 6-speed dual clutch technology automatic transmission doesn't seem to mate well to the diesel motor. And what we get is a lot of hunting between the gears, trying to find what gear it really wants to be in. It tends to hang on to gears a little bit too long, and it's, especially around town, it's way too keen to pull back a gear. On the open road, on the freeway, it cruises fine, not a problem, but it just tends to be a little bit ambivalent where it's driving around town. Other than that, the diesel itself is very economical. We get around town about 10.5 litres per 100 k's. When you're considering the size of this vehicle and the fact that it's a relatively small motor in something this size, that's a pretty good economy. On a trip that will drop down to about 7.5 to 8 litres per 100 k's, and that's good for a car this size. You can fit 7 people in. One thing you do notice with the diesel motor, and this is the torque characteristics of it, if you put 7 people on board, it really doesn't make that much difference. You really, honestly, don't notice the extra people on board. In fact, it seems to hunker down and drive even better at times. It's almost as if the extra weight makes the transmission and the motor better together. One thing Dodge has done exceptionally well in the Journey is the amount of storage spaces. It has not only 2 decent sized cup holders in the centre here, it has door holder for bottles. Any of the 600ml size bottles will fit in there quite easily. It has some in the rear doors and also for the rear seats. The other thing it has is plenty of place to store drinks or little knickknacks. It's got a double glove box system. The top one actually has a holder there for 2 cans, which can be chilled using the air conditioning, which is a great little idea. It also has, in the seat squab of the passenger seat, you lift it up and there's a little storage area there, which is quite handy and takes that storing things under the front seat to an all new level. I guess the only disadvantage of that is that whatever you put in there, you have to actually get off the seat to access. In the rear footwells for the middle row of seats, there is also 2 lift-up containers and some little holders in there. Would probably hold about 8 or 10 cans, I'd say, of soft drink or whatever. So again, a great idea, great storage. Plenty of seat travel for the driver and the front passenger. The middle row of seats will also slide 60 mils back and forward to give an overall adjustment of 120 mils to make sure you get adequate leg room there. And the rear seats themselves are enough for 2 teenagers to fit in with reasonable comfort over a shorter distance. Again, like a lot of these cars, you wouldn't want to be driving a heap of distance with 2 teenagers in the back, but anything up to about 20 minutes, half an hour, not a problem. The other thing you notice about the inside of the Dodge is that it is incredibly flexible and innovative in its seats. The seats can fold down in different combinations, and you get a flat storage area when you fold the middle seats down, so it gives you a good load area. Along those lines, the Dodge is actually larger than you might anticipate. It's got the same amount of storage internally as a Touareg, which is surprising. There's about 400 cubic centimetres of storage with the two rear seats folded down, but the middle seats up. And if you tend to fold the middle seats down, you then get about 1,500 cubic centimetres of storage, which is quite large for something in the 7-seater mid-size range. The overall length of the Dodge is about 4.5 metres, so it is quite long. It's longer than some of its competitors in terms of like a Mitsubishi Outlander or a Honda Odyssey. So what that does, it makes it more internal space. And unlike a lot of American cars, they do actually make pretty good use of the space inside the Dodge. One nifty little idea is the fact that when you fold the rear seats down, the headrests automatically fold forward for you so that it gives that flat area, which is probably a good idea. One of the first things you notice when driving the Dodge is that it is a big car. It's bigger than you expect. It's 1,750 odd kilograms, and again it's heavier than a lot of its competitors. And although it's got a 2.7 litre V6 motor, it's not a particularly powerful one. And you do feel the fact that this is probably 150 to 180 kilos heavier than a number of other vehicles with a slightly smaller motor. So it does feel a bit underpowered, and you do tend to use the motor a lot more rather than the torque characteristics, which gives you the better fuel economy. Talking about fuel economy, what we've got so far is about 10.5 litres on a freeway trip, and around town about 13.5 litres per 100 k's. So look, it's not too bad, it's not fantastic, but for a V6 motor that will carry 7 people in a large vehicle, it's pretty good actually. The safety features on the Dodge are quite substantial in the standard sort of format. It's got airbags for both the front passenger and driver. It's got side curtain airbags for all 3 rows of seats, which is particularly important. It's got ESP and ABS and all of the other acronyms that you need. But it feels good and solid, and I guess that's part of the good thing about the extra weight that's involved. Although the Journey does feel a little bit underpowered, in a strange twist of fate, I guess you'd call it, when you are 7 up, it does cope quite well with it. You certainly won't be winning any races at the stoplights, and you certainly won't be beating the cars through the corners for handling, but it carries 7 people in comfort with relative ease. And if you start looking at fit for purpose, Dodge have built a good car that fits its purpose extremely well. Well, there we have it, Chrysler's Dodge Journey. 7-seater, people mover, plenty of storage space, plenty of knickknacks, plenty of great ideas. Both the petrol and the diesel models. I guess at the top of the line diesel model at $46,990 plus about another $7,000 for the options, the MyGig entertainment system, the sunroof and the rear DVD player, brings it in around $53,000, $54,000. And for that price, this is really good value. You can fit 7 people in comfort. It's got all the safety features. It looks good. It's a great entry into the marketplace. Things we like about it are the size, its capacity, its clever ideas. The petrol's a little bit heavy on fuel. The diesel's good on fuel, but the transmission doesn't seem to work too well with it. But apart from those minor niggles, if you're having a look for a 7-seater, by all means have a look at Dodge Journey. We'll see you next time.